What's up, guys? Barry Game here, back with some more Idle Heroes news for February 7th, 2024. And today we have the skill card for Interstellar Huntress Patricia. Now, this is an interesting one because she kind of sounds like a Transcendence version of Drake, something that we've been wanting for quite a while with, Drake's whole defense down type ability he has. She isn't exactly like that. However, she has the ability to lower the damage reduction the enemy has. She has a way to lower the chances of the enemy's dodging and blocking attacks. So it's kind of like a pseudo Drake. And she is a ranger, and we talked about it last week. I'm like, most rangers that are Transcendence heroes end up being support heroes like Mystic Fairy Freya. Natalia's kind of built as a support hero. We even have Queen. I mean, all the rangers are just really great, solid support heroes. So I don't know if that's the intent. However, it does look like her abilities also pack a punch damage-wise and self-healing wise, on top of giving herself dodge as well. So this is the second hero in a row that has a pretty decent dodge rate, it seems like. First being Lord Sparkles, now Interstellar Huntress Patricia. So this could be pretty interesting. The early spoilers said that it made it sound like her tenants were Phantom Defier Elena and Therapist Blood Betty, but sadly those are who she is a tenant for. I was going to say that would be an amazing kit. However, the ones that she did end up with as tenants, not bad, and she has essentially Rangers and Warriors in every single tenant slot so far. So as far as stat boosts go, this looks promising. Let's jump right into the hero and see what she's all about, because there's a lot of text, there's a lot of words. We're gonna need our PhD. Let's go. Right, let's start with the active skill here. Oh my goodness, this is a long one. We're not even going to fit it on one screen here. So Starlight Gunfire deals attack damage to random enemies and restores self HP equal to a certain percentage of her max HP. So it's not tied to how much damage she does. Afterward, increases self attack for several rounds and enters Interstellar Arraignment. Okay. And grant self dodge until the end of basically it goes away. So this is like her status effect that she has for herself. If self is already under it, when releasing active skills, she releases Support Fire several times immediately, each dealing attack damage to random enemies. Support Fire has the following effects based on the number of layers of Starlit Beacon. Yeah, there's a lot of different terms here, guys. You're gonna have to study up. But again, this is pretty much just like what Patricia does. It's almost identical. Number one, there's a chance to additionally inflict stun, ecstatic soul. So this is the new CC effect she's bringing to the game on the target for several rounds. 2 stacks deals extra attack damage, which ignores a certain percentage of armor, damage reduction, all damage reduction. Again, this is kind of like her self Drake effect that she has, very similar to what Doom Terminator Vulcan has as well. Afterward, inflict several layers of Starlit Beacon on the target hit. Each support fire makes Interstellar Arraignment gain more chances with an upper limit to chase, attack, and increase the passive skill Interstellar Huntress Fire Up. If you haven't noticed, there's like five bracketed keywords so far, and then she'll chase. So let's talk about the stun first. The stun is a control effect. Stun targets inflicted with it are unable to basically do any type of attack, but also reduces their chance of blocking and dodging attacks, which is something that's very new and unique. And this is what feels a little bit like a Drake-esque ability. However, it can be put on like the entire enemy team. Starlit Beacon is a skill effect stackable up to several layers, and each effect varies according to the number of layers. Reaching a certain number of layers reduces the target's damage reduction, another way to lower the damage reduction on the enemy. Reaching a certain number also reduces the control immunity of the target. So again, kind of good because it synergizes with itself very well with the stun ecstatic soul. So depending on what the sublimations look on this hero, she could actually be really good. And the fact that this part reminds me a lot of Doom Terminator Vulcan gives me hope that maybe she's a viable hero. We'll have to see. On to her passives here. So let's start at the top. Stellar Shooter changes the base attack to attack several times, each dealing damage to random enemies. So we'll have to see if it hits multiple targets on each kind of chase, with a chance to inflict several layers of Starlit Beacon for several rounds. If the target already has it, there's a chance to inflict the stun effect on them for several rounds. If self is under the Interstellar Arraignment status, attacks more times and makes this ability gain more chances to chase and attack. So again, Feels like what we showed you with Patricia, the regular version, with multiples, she can kind of do all by herself. Passive skill, Galaxy Flame Tail. When any hero dies on the battlefield, Interstellar Arraignment gains more chances with an upper limit to chase and attack. If the hero is an ally, it increases your all damage reduction for several rounds and restores HP by a certain percentage of max HP if the enemy is the one that's dead. Additionally, increases self attack for several rounds. So not really a boss killer per se, but really good if people are dying on the battlefield. And it makes me kind of hopeful that in the early game, this makes her more viable in a lot of game modes where you have just, you know, 9-star heroes around her that are built to be suicide. They're there to just die and have an effect, and then that effect also buffs her. So it's interesting because, again, it also increases energy when she's killing enemies, which sounds promising. Her last skill here, Interstellar Huntress, Fire Up. This is what we actually talked about at the end here as well, I believe. Where was it? There was something that talked about Fire Up, wasn't it? Oh my god, there's just so many keywords here. I can't remember. There's just so much, and you can see how big this passive is too. So Interstellar Huntress, Fire Up. When self is under Interstellar Arraignment status and an ally takes damage from an active or base attack, she consumes several layers of this and chases and attacks the enemy, dealing attack damage and reducing their crit chance for several rounds. Meanwhile, inflicts several layers of Starlit Beacon. Each time entering this status, it gains several chances to chase and attack. When the available chance reaches the target, removes the effect. So it's basically like she builds these stacks up and then she can counterattack and chase attack, not counterattack. She counterattacks for her allies, it sounds like. So it's a little different than regular Patricia, who chases when another one attacks. It's really weird. It's very reminiscent of what Lord Sparkles has. After a total release, chase and attack times reaches the target, additionally increases Stellar Blast. So Stellar Blast deals number of surviving enemies of attack. So this is the type of ability, I think, where it's going to deal like 4,000% damage split across however enemies are surviving. If there's only one, it all hits that one target, ignoring a certain percentage of their armor, damage reduction. And again, this is that Drake effect right there for her own abilities. Very similar to Doom Terminator Vulcan. Stellar Blast has the following effect based on the number of layers. There's a chance to also inflict a stun for several rounds, and then there's also dealing another damage that looks like it's split across surviving enemies. Afterward, it removes that effect. So that is interesting. We do get a little preview of her core of origin as well, when self is under Interstellar Armament, which should be very often. At the end of each round, increases control immunity for random allies until the end of Interstellar Arraignment. So this probably goes up from like 1 at the base all the way up to like 5 allies, kind of like how Phantom of Fire Atlantis works. When chase attacks, increases the target's ally damage reduction till the end of the effect. This effect won't be effective on the same hero each round repeatedly, so it is going to have to bounce around. We'll have to see if it actually can apply to herself as well every other round. After Stellar Blast is released, increases all ally speed for several rounds. So the core's alright. It's nothing like special to really dote on or anything. We do have her tenant list, which again is not bad. You got Patricia here or Gaggy, whichever one you want to build. You got a Natalia here or Natalie here, and then you have Doppelganger Natalia here, and then you have Hyperspace Hunter Ilamok. So these two as supporters, not the worst thing we've seen in the world. Actually pretty decent overall. So this could be interesting. It could be. I don't know if it's going to work out. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that she's either usable or a support hero. That would be kind of cool because, again, if she's a tenant for Betty, that would be kind of cool to build on our main account as a Destiny transitioned hero that's just there for supporting. That could be really interesting. Let me know what you guys think about the hero. I am optimistic, and we will be testing her live tomorrow night. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time.